These are the stories that we have about the knife sheath, okay?
Kohberger allegedly stalked one of the victims. That's false. You knew that was false. For anybody who had never heard that before, that question is now planted into them, unqualified representation that Mr. Kohberger stalked one of the witnesses, and that's false. We do not have evidence that the defendant had direct contact with 1122 or with residents of 1122. But we can put his phone in that area. There are many residences in that area. It's a dense population of mostly college-related occupants.
Everything stated in this video is my opinion and my opinion only. And just like everything else in these cases we discuss here on this channel, everything is alleged.
In the PCA, Payne's PCA, he gives himself responsibility. I later noticed, blah, blah, blah. Okay. In Blaker's, he says he was later informed that there was a knife sheath. Okay. 2 different responsibilities, 2 different writers, technically copy and paste PCAs. If you know, you know. We're being told from Blaker filling out paperwork to go and pick up the knife sheath sample before he takes off to the woodlands.
After getting evidence checked into the lab, I signed for a DNA profile which had been generated by the ISP forensic lab. This DNA profile was collected from a knife sheath which was found by ISP investigators from District 2 during the initial search of 1122 King Road on November 13th. The sheath had been transported to the lab by ISP troopers. Remember how Dollinger, however you say his name, just said, oh, it was brought over to the lab in Meridian immediately, and they started working on it immediately. Well, then why does this say on supplement number 56 that it didn't actually get there for them to work on it until November 16th of 2022? On November 16th, 2022, at approximately 8:36 in the morning, Corporal Williford of the Idaho State Police assisted the Moscow Police Department by transporting evidence related to an active investigation to the State Forensics Laboratory. I signed for and received 1 item from Casey Massey of the Moscow Police Department, an item 11 knife sheath in a sealed brown paper bag. I contacted Corporal Turrentine and informed him of the assignment and asked for his assistance. I transported the evidence south and met with Corporal Turrentine at the Idaho Transportation Department shed in New Meadows. I maintained custody of the evidence from when I received it until I released it to the custody of Corporal Turrentine.
The timeline that we're being told doesn't match a bunch of other shit either. In one interview with Chief Fry, he's basically claiming that by 2 p.m., Tyson Barrett has called him and told him that the sheath has been found and Brett Payne's name is mentioned.
It's talking about how he's now off the phone. He's been told that Payne is on his way and he's going to be there around 4 o'clock, which again, I can't fault the book because that's what the official document said at the time. But it also goes down to claim that after he's gotten a call from Chief Jenkins over in Pullman and denied his assistance, this portion is placed. Barrett's shared with Fry that a knife sheath was found in one of the rooms. It's imperative this doesn't get out.
Brett Payne doesn't get there until after 4 o'clock. He is at MPD. He does not go to the crime scene at all until after he is done doing interviews. The bigger problem is that we have the guy from ISP in his report. He's talking about getting there, what was it, like 2 something in the freaking afternoon? And he's saying that Blaker is telling him all this shit. And that's where the whole, it's okay, Kaylee, I'm going to help you lie came from. Because for one, Blaker wasn't at the scene whenever ISP showed up. That he didn't show up for freaking hours after that. And that was never said. Literally at all.
In Talbot's report, we are hearing that Talbot is getting to the scene at 2:41 p.m. At this point, Payne and Blaker are already at the scene.
So many things are misconstrued. So many freaking things are wrong.
Now, when it comes to if it was noticeable or not, we have a lot of discrepancies there. We're not sure, honestly, what it looked like, when anything could have changed, what's really going on here. We don't. We know that Eric Warner claims in his report he went over to that side of the bed to check Maddie's leg for lividity.
The knife sheath would have been right there, and he doesn't say a word. Hours and hours later, Officer Payne comes on scene, and they are praising him for finding it, while other reports are claiming ISP actually found it. Now, ISP's report claims it was partially covered.
Talbot's report gives a description of how the leather knife sheath and the blanket were apparently placed together. Near Mogen's left hip was a tan-colored leather sheath partially covered by the comforter.
And that matches all of the crime scene photos that we have seen that have been released to us to the public. MPD didn't release any from inside the rooms. We had a few from mainstream media that showed some droplets on the floor of Maddie's room, very little actual inside the bedroom, inside the actual crime scene information. When I did my FOIA stuff, I was told from the FOIA officer at MPD that only one entity got the full set of photos. But there's nothing in the logs for MPD for the officer that actually took those photos about the knife sheath either. The crime scene photos that we have gotten from ISP show it partially covered. It barely at all tucked under Maddie's leg and definitely visible. Nothing in ISP's reports has said that the blanket was covering the knife sheath. Literally none of them have claimed the blanket had to be pulled back and then they found the knife sheath. The only source that we have heard that from is that retired FBI agent. And again, I don't know why I got my information backwards, because him being the only one giving us information that doesn't match the actual evidence that we physically have seen so far as the public, and him being a physical FBI agent that apparently, according to what we're being told, worked on this case. Of course, he's telling us something that doesn't match. He's the only one claiming it was completely covered up with the blanket.
The comforter's over, the girls take the comforter off. Lo and behold, there's a knife sheath laying right there.
So which is it? I don't know. This FBI guy would not have been there on scene when all this was going on. And by now, we've seen a lot of footage. And this dude's face does not look familiar. We have not seen him here lately. Now, there are several hours of that footage of the entry body cam of the officer holding down the front entry of the house and the switch outs and everything going on. There are still several hours of that we have not seen yet. There's a lot of FOIAs out there pending. There's a lot of people trying to get more information because we have yet to actually get a real timeline here. Like, there's so much missing. All we are trying to do is put together the puzzle pieces, the knife sheath being one of the biggest ones, the DNA from the knife sheath and all the issues there. There's just so many questions. It's difficult to sit back and try to maybe justify certain things in order to make it more simplified when all the questions are still remain unanswered. We cannot remove things from making this look as insane as it does until we start getting some real facts here. And again, the more information that gets released to the public, there's nothing that points where they want us to think it does, and that is just insane. Let me know what you guys are thinking about just all of this. Just pour it all out. I will probably end up doing a video reading you guys' thoughts, because I'm not the only one that feels like this. And you guys, a lot of you just don't want to be on this side of things. So you might keep some stuff sort of like inside maybe about the way that you feel about the actual factual insanity here. And I would really like to share some of you guys' thoughts, because a lot of us are thinking all the same things. We see the evidence, we read the documents, we look at how the science worked, we look at all of the things that we've been misled on, we look at all of the things that were talked about for so long that ended up being completely irrelevant, but it was too late. It was already implanted in everyone's mind. So now trying to get the truth out there is really difficult. We just wait. We wait, we keep reading, we keep trying to piece together a true timeline until we finally have it. And wherever that truly leads is just wherever that truly leads at that point, because there's going to be nothing else to question if we finally have everything. But for now, again, let me know what you guys are thinking about just everything in general, down in the comments. If you like the way that I present this information and give my opinion, please don't forget to leave a like on the way out, subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed already, and please don't forget to make sure that the notification bell is set to all so you don't miss any of my rants, reviews, reactions, updates, or deep dives. See y'all.